If you're planning to watch Morbius this weekend, then I highly encourage you not to. Instead, why don't you just continue watching this video and I'll explain the whole ending and what is to come afterwards. So, Morbius had to fight his childhood friend because his childhood friend wanted the same powers that Morbius got, but instead his childhood friend went a little crazy with it and wants to wreak havoc because he thinks that him and Morbius should be the only ones with this type of power and go to town with it. Matt Smith unfortunately targets Morbius's girlfriend or love interest, so she ends up dying, but before she dies, Morbius decides, you know what, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna drink her blood, so and leaves her there on top of this building. Now with nothing to lose, Morbius goes ahead and gets rid of his friend and then flies off into the distance, hoping for whatever next is to come for him. And the way he flies, he has this army of bats that's now his new best friend. As he flies away, you see Tyrese, who didn't really do anything in this movie, but he gives this menacing glare at, ooh, who is this mother? And I'm gonna do something and get him. So you see that. Then guess what? Surprise! The girlfriend is still alive. She wakes up and then all of a sudden you see veins around her eyes and everything. It's like, uh-oh, she's turning into a vampire too. And then the movie ends with Morbius flying through the city like Superman, and you get a close-up of his nice cute little face. Now we get treated to the first post-credit scene, and that is a scene that really frustrates me because they did something that totally negates what we were all expecting all along. You see, they're really playing with the whole multiverse thing that all transpired in Spider-Man No Way Home. Now if you watched Venom 2, you see that Tom Hardy was whisked away into the MCU, but at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, he gets whisked right back into the Sony Spider-Man universe, whatever it is. That was their way of saying, well, Venom can still exist in the MCU, but it's not going to be played by Tom Hardy because we want Tom Hardy for ourselves. So in a very similar vein, we see that the multiverse is cracking through the skies of the city, and we get brought to the jail cell where, guess what? Michael Keaton's Adrian Toomes is being held at. Now, of course, we know him as the Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming, whom we haven't seen since. So we see him in the jail cell, and then all of a sudden he starts glowing and flashing, and then things go to normal. But you can see that he can tell that something has changed and even makes a comment about the whole situation saying, well, I hope the food tastes much better here. So guess what? Congratulations, Sony. You took away Michael Keaton from the MCU and now he is within your own precious little Sony Spiderverse. Now we get treated with another post-credit scene after some credits roll. And we see Morbius, hanging out, flying down and waiting for someone to show up. And then we see in the distance this gust of wind and something blowing through, and guess what? It is Vulture himself. And he shows up and he greets Morbius and says, hey, what's up, buddy? I am Vulture, or I am Adrian Toomes. I forget, I don't remember. But he said, nice to meet you. I feel like I was brought here for a specific reason, and I think it was meant to be that we meet right here because I have a feeling it has everything to do with Spider-Man. What say you, buddy? And Morbius is like, ooh, interesting. Well, tell me more. And that's it. No mention of a Spider-Man. He didn't even acknowledge that there was a Spider-Man hanging around. But with all this being said, I can see what they're trying to do here, and it's really frustrating. So now you have Tom Hardy's Venom, Morbius, and now Adrian Toomes, played by Michael Keaton, within this own separate universe from the Tom Holland universe. Because guess what? Tom Holland still has ties within the MCU, and it doesn't look like Marvel's willing to give that up anytime soon. So which Spider-Man are they referring to? If it's not Tom Holland, then who could it be? Could people's hopes and dreams of an amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield come to fruition? Are we going to bring in Tobey Maguire? Why not? Give him something to do now that he has that nice taste of being Spider-Man once again. Could this be a gateway for Miles Morales to show up and take over the reins of Spider-Man within this separate universe? Or are we gonna get introduced to something completely different? I don't know. It's all very confusing, but there you have it. That's how the movie ended. So if you feel grateful and you feel like I've saved you some time and money in watching Morbius, then the best thing you could do is hit that like button, punch it, smack it, bite it, whatever it is. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to get notified when future videos are uploaded onto the channel. And if you haven't seen it yet, check out my honest review of Morbius if you so dare. Catch you next time.